Hey guys, it's Harlan, and I just want to make sure that you can all see my screen. I'm going to ask you again in a second. If you see my screen, go ahead and type in that you see it. Okay, everybody sees my screen. All right, now we're going to try something else. So one more time here. Can you see the screen? Type in what you see, please. Type in what you see. And I can't even see what they're typing. This is not working for me. Okay, so we're gonna go. Can you guys see this? Is this fine?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
Yep, and it looks like they're typing in virtual cash machine and stuff, so they can see as
Okay.
well.
Perfect. All right. So I'm glad you can see it. And number one is I don't do stuff like this that we're doing today ever. Matter of fact, I can't even think of um, I can't even think of a time before that I've done this, and that is have someone on as a webinar who has already done a webinar with my people. And the reason that I'm doing this is very, very simple. Number one is when I did the Supersite Formula Live, John came out and taught and blew everybody away. And I was watching and I was given access to the program. And I was watching what people were doing, and I watched while someone in the program went on to make $11,000 in his first month of the program. Now, frankly, things like that don't happen. But I didn't dive in myself because I was really, really busy finishing up some copy projects. And I dove in. I put my toe in the water 3 weeks ago, and I had been working at this solidly for the past 2 weeks. And my own personal results, which I will show you, have just grossed so much money in the past 2 weeks that that I had to ask John to come back with you. Now, in this program, I'm probably considered a beginner. Okay, I didn't come in with any advantages over anybody else, um, and I had to learn the program from the ground up. I understood the concepts, but now I see, and what I've seen is so powerful that I am seriously saying, okay, why am I not doing this full time? And I also thought to bring you guys aboard. And the reason I thought to bring you guys aboard is, as I said to someone today, this is so amazing. I cannot believe that I didn't think of it first. So I know John for a number of years. I wrote copy for him. I've watched this guy make bucket loads and bucket loads of money online. But now that I see this, this is like literally a corpse could do this. It doesn't take any special skills. It does not, you don't need a super high IQ. The only thing that you need is once you get started, which is probably, I'm going to say, a week to 2 weeks to get the concepts up, um, you could be making money within a day or so with very, very, very little investment and very, very, very little risk. So with that as an introduction, I'm going to show you my results a little bit later and exactly how I'm making money. Who wants to hear from John the details about what's going on? Have I tempted you? Okay. So I'm not doing any hype here at all, okay? There's no need for hype. I'm going to show you my actual things. I'm going to show you my actual numbers. But literally, um, I'm making anywhere from 2 to 2.5 to the best I've done is close to 3 times my investment every single day. And there are people who are doing who've been doing it a little bit longer who are doing better than that. Now, you can take your money and you could invest it in Wall Street and watch your money bottom out, okay? And you could lose money. I owned Apple stock for years, and I didn't do anything. I just watched my money go. I invested at one price, and you know, my actually rather small investment grew to, you know, tens of thousands of dollars on a small investment over time. And now that investment is dwindling and dropping like a rock. I have to tell you that the money that I made over years in Apple, I see now that I could make now in under a week. And the truth of the matter is, this is the kind of money that if you get more advanced, you can make that kind of money in a day or so. The risks here are minuscule, really minuscule. So with us today, we have the two people who are like the founders of the program, the publishers of the program, John, Tar, and Kyle. And I'm going to turn things over to them, but I'm going to be here in the background, and I'm going to come in and show you my results and how I'm getting my results. And I want you to know one more thing is that I'm not even doing all of the things they suggest yet, okay? So you're going to see that. I'm going to point that out to you. I'm going to be entirely open with you. One of them is for a technical reason, but folks, this is something that even if you do it half-assed, which is what I'm doing it right now, I'm still making money, okay? So John, Kyle, meet the gang and take it away. And John, you just tell me when to advance the slides.
Okay, cool. And can you, okay, awesome. I can do that for sure. So perfect. Well, thanks, Harlan, for the introduction. Welcome, everybody. Some of you I've met. I'm sure some of you I haven't met. So great to connect here, and I'm excited because I think we've got a fun presentation to fill you in on today. And so we'll get to all that in a second, but go ahead, Harlan. Let's go to the second slide. How many of you, and if you have this in slideshow mode, it looks great, Harlan, if you have it in play mode, but how many of you have seen these ads that have the 20 hottest NFL wags or the 20 hottest wives of NBA players, 20 brokest NBA players? How many of you guys, type in yes if you've seen these type of ads on Facebook or on your mobile phone?
Yeah.
Some yeses?
Yeah, they see them all the time, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah, so these things are really cool. And so how can these ads, these kind of things, make you a bunch of money online? That's what we're going to show you today, is exactly the ins and outs of that. Because we've all seen these, and we all know exactly how they work. So let's go to the next slide and click on that for me if you can, and let's pull this up. So check this out, everybody. This is an actual link to one of these ads, and it shows you exactly what these look like on these sites. So, and if it's more comfortable to turn it over to me, I can certainly do that because I have it loaded up on my presentation too.
Okay. Well, here we're good now. This one I get to play.
All right, awesome. So you guys have seen these, and the idea of these is basically they want to get you to click on it. So 28 hottest wives in the NFL. We all want to see that. Wags or wives and girlfriends, and it brings up number 28, Courtney Eckert. Now I don't know who Courtney Eckert is, but I guess she's a longtime girlfriend of Miami Dolphins running back LaMichael James, who I also don't know who he is. But anyway, but I'm interested, right, in knowing who the others are. So now we got Candace Crawford Romo. She's pretty hot. Married to Dallas Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo. Awesome. Who else do we have here? Oh, yeah, we all know Giselle, right? Tom Brady's wife. So, and this thing goes on for 28 slides. And how many of you just, I know you probably don't click on these because I know you're actually productive, as am I. So I never click to the end of these, right? I never just sit at my laptop and get distracted and click all the way through, of course, and then get distracted by an ad I see and click on that. And so these things can literally go on. And they're a lot of fun. They're entertaining, they're fun, and they suck you in. They absolutely suck you in. So is everybody kind of understanding the concept of what this slideshow is here? Miss Ponder, we know her. So awesome. So okay, Harlan, we can go on now. So I got ahead of myself because I wanted to show you these slideshows and sort of the concept that we're going to be talking about today. And so what we're going to go over in addition to that is I'm going to show you, I'll tell you a little bit about Kyle and I and sort of how we found this model. I'm going to take you through basically like what it is. Like, why is this the best model ever? Because in my opinion, someone who's been online since 2009, and I've done a bunch of different models. I've done high ticket, I've done membership sites. I mean, I've kind of done it all, ebooks, things like that, affiliate marketing. I'm going to tell you why, in my opinion, in Kyle's opinion, this is the best one we've seen. I'll show you an actual virtual cash machine. That's what we call them. I'll show you an actual site. I'm going to give you a case study on Harlan's stuff. He's going to share with you the numbers that he's gotten. We'll talk about what other people in the training have said about building these sites. We're going to give you a blueprint on how to build your own site. So if you want to get started today, you literally will have more information than you've ever had about this concept. We're going to blow away some of the myths about these kind of sites, like about the model, about what people are saying, because there's a lot of myths out there, and really show you why, in my opinion, this is the best model today for online marketing. So, cool. Okay, so we can proceed. Proceed, sir. You see, I wasn't lying. So all that stuff is on there. And by the way, we're going to take your questions at the end of this. And I always talk about time. I try to get through this stuff as fast as I can because I know that your time is valuable. So we're on for about an hour and 20, an hour and 25 minutes, give or take a little bit. So we're not going to drone on here for 3 hours, but we will take your questions as long as you have them. So like Harlan mentioned, my name is John Tarr. My business partner is Kyle Bell. So Kyle, say hello.
Hey guys, what's going on?
And we are basically the publishers. We've got a couple other guys that we work with. You'll hear about them a little bit more in the training later. Their name is Casey Curtis and Michael Wilkins. And so they're the ones that kind of introduced us to this model and got us going on it. And they're old students of ours and so on and so forth. But Kyle and I have been working together for quite some time. I come from a retail automotive background. My dad owned car dealerships. So I grew up in a brick and mortar business kind of area. And I always kind of hated it. I mean, it was, you know, it was long hours. It was really high overhead. So you're talking about, I think I put in here $185,000 a month just to break even is what our overhead was. That was 15 years ago on one of my father's small stores. So, I mean, you're talking about considerably times changing now with the internet and what's, you know, available for business owners and entrepreneurs today that was not available in my dad's time and the time prior to that. And that's why I absolutely love this model. Kyle was a real estate developer, basically. And so, Kyle, tell them a little bit about, you know, having all your chips on the table.
Yeah, well, yeah, so I was a developer back in, from about 2004 to 2009-ish is when it came to a crashing halt, literally. And I was young and dumb, and it was awesome, right? Real estate, because you could go out and you could get some hard money, and you'd leverage what you had to get 4 pieces, 5 pieces of dirt, and then you build up houses, and you'd start building them up, and you could sell them before they got drywall on the studs because the market was just going crazy. And then, of course, you don't put any money away. What you do is leverage whatever you just made into getting, instead of 5 pieces of dirt, maybe you get 15 pieces of dirt now. And so now all of a sudden you're building on 15 pieces of property, and then the market crashes. So ultimately you've got all this money tied up, you're leveraged to the hilt, and the market decides to crash, and you're sitting there holding the bag, owing all sorts of banks money, all sorts of contractors money. Not a great time.
Yeah, and so why am I telling you this? Like, why does this even matter? Well, like, my son is 14 months old, and he's watching this thing on Baby First Television, and they do, bigger, biggest, right? And he's like, oh, okay, I get it. So, this was not a bad environment, right? So go ahead and move on to the next slide. But then we found online marketing. So we break away from this bricks and mortar type stuff. We break away from real estate development to where we've got to have all of our money on the table. And we start doing other kind of marketing, like affiliate marketing and different online things. Like I told you, Harlan's written copy for us, and lots of copy for us, actually, for various products that we've had. And so we went from being in a brick and mortar business to now being online, where Kyle and I are kind of known as traffic guys. And we have spent over the last, since 2009, between ourselves, our students, and our clients, we have spent well over $30 million on traffic. And that is no joke. I mean, that's really what the amount has been. And when you're talking anywhere from 10 cents a click to 50 cents a click, that's a lot of clicks. And so we have quite the experience in online marketing. And again, what that has to do with you is this model that we're going to show you today, in our opinion, is the best. So, if you're trapped in a bricks and mortar business, there's a way out. And if you're in an online business that you don't really enjoy, you can get to a better online business that really takes less of your time. So I'm excited about sharing that with you. And I think we're a slide behind here, guys. There you go. So, yeah, we worked with a lot of big gurus too, so you probably, chances are, if you've heard of them, they worked with us on their traffic, because we do a lot of consulting and stuff for those guys. But most people don't know us, and that's cool with us, because we don't really enjoy being known all that much. Okay, moving on. Enough about us. Let's talk about Tim Ferriss and the 4-Hour Work Week. So, and you can go ahead and go through these slides, Harlan. So I just want to touch on this. How many people read this book? Yes, I'm sure. Kyle?
Yes. Yep, Kurt said yeah. Yep.
So this is the book that really got it all started for me. And I read this book, and I love Tim Ferriss. I love his writing. I think he's an awesome dude. And I love the book. And I'm like, wow. I mean, at that time, I had a brick and mortar business. And I'm like, man, if I could just break away from that, the 4-hour work week, live the dream, all this kind of stuff. So here's what Tim doesn't tell you in the book, which is there are a ton of variables in the online game, right? So you have copy, which guys like Harlan, who are phenomenal world-class copywriters, charge hundreds of thousands of dollars to write copy. And so unless you get a guy like that, trying to write your own copy can be pretty much, I mean, just forget it, right? So there's a lot of variables there. Then you have to have a funnel. Then you have to have merchant accounts. Then you have to have a customer service team. If you are dealing with a shopping cart, you need to have Infusionsoft or some sort of techie gadget that'll take care of all that. So you have some IT stuff, refunds, chargebacks. I mean, it kind of goes on with how many variables can be in a typical online business. And one of our top clients he had a fitness business online, an info fitness business, which he basically is like, forget it, right? This model is so much easier than that. I'm so excited about moving to this model and forgetting that because of all the variables. So what that means to you, when there's a lot of variables to do something, that means it can be hard, and it can be easy to make mistakes, and that there can be a very long learning curve for you when you get into online marketing And so if you're on this webinar and you haven't had a ton of success, then this could be the opportunity for you, because there's not very many variables here. So because there are not very many variables, it makes it a lot easier, as Harlan said before, from a beginner's standpoint, that you can succeed. And if you have had a lot of success in online marketing, you will instantly see why this model is totally, just totally the best. So, all right, go ahead and, are you moving it to me here?
No, we're good. We're good.
Oh, okay. Because I lost the screen for some reason.
We're up at virtual cash machines.
Let's see. Well, let's see. Hold on here.
Yeah, I can't see it either.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. How about now?
Yeah, there we go. Cool.
Back.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So I call this a virtual cash machine. So, real estate's going to kick off cash for you every month. This is our kind of investing strategy. It's a virtual cash machine. It's the easiest and most profitable way to do business online. What is it? It's basically ad arbitrage. So if you are familiar with an ad arbitrage model, and we're going to get into that here in just a second, a little bit more detail, but it's basically the best way to do business, because you don't have to have a product to sell. You don't have to have a list. You don't have to have a merchant account. You don't have to have any of that stuff. So it's easy to set up, and it's a lot easier to scale, which I'll also get into in a second. But so let me give you an example. You've seen publishing sites. You've seen newspapers. You've seen those kind of arbitrage businesses. What those businesses do, they sell advertising. So they're going to put out a newspaper. They sell advertising. That's how they make their money. Their plan is to sell more advertising than it costs them to put together that newspaper. That's basically that business. Some other arbitrage businesses you may be familiar with. A casino is an arbitrage business. They win more than they lose, and they take a scrape. A hedge fund is an arbitrage business. They win more than they lose. A bank is an arbitrage business. They win more than they lose. But the thing with those businesses is a typical arbitrage business, it's got to be really big, and you've got to have a lot of money to play, because you're not going to go out and start a hedge fund with two grand, right? I mean, you got to have billions of dollars to play. You want to start a casino? Billions of dollars. You want to start a television network? Billions of dollars. So that's kind of the model in a nutshell. And I'm going to show you how basically you can build your own little private kind of network, I'll call it, or publishing site online and start printing this money. So go ahead to the next slide. Let's talk about ESPN here. So ESPN was valued at $40 billion in this little thing that I put online. And then if you see the little article below there, it's actually surpassed $50 billion. So, I mean, that's just enormous, right? I mean, it's just absolutely enormous. And here's the cool thing for you. ESPN is taking the model, sort of, that we do online. They started with television, 35 years ago. The internet is not like television. It's infinite, which television is not. And it's also, easy to get into now because it's in its infancy. It's very young. So go ahead to the next slide. And so here's the advantages you have today with these sites over an ESPN. You basically, think about this. You don't have to have any talent. So you think about ESPN and their shows, Pardon the Interruption, or you think about CBS and 2.5 Men. I mean, Charlie Sheen is not holding Kyle and I over a barrel for another, 20 million, right, or another 2 million an episode. We don't have to mess with anybody like that. We don't have to produce a ton of awesomely curated content. So you don't really have that when you're dealing with these kind of websites. And when I show you the blueprint on how to put it together, you'll understand. Go ahead to the next slides, please.
Okay, I don't know if you noticed, but I got kicked off, so I'm back.
Oh, no. Oh, okay, cool. No, I was just talking away. I'm not I'm a co-pilot here.
Is he? I apologize for that.
No,
We
Mine-
got you back.
Glenna, your recording counts.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, just go to the next slide, please.
Your daily dish.
Yeah, and yeah, and pull that site up there, please. So I'm going to show you guys an example of one of these sites, and we're going to start getting into how they're monetized, where the money's at, etc.
Okay. Can everybody see? Tell me what they're typing in. Can everybody see the screen? Hello?
I
Yep.
can't, Harlan. It says want to buy. It's still on the old slide.
Oh, some say yes, some say no. Some say want to buy a network.
Yeah, that's what mine says.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. How about now? What do you guys see?
Still the same thing to me.
Yeah, same thing to me as well.
Everybody reload your screen. Reload to see what happens.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't even know how to do that, actually. If you're
Okay,
not
John?
techie, you come to the right place.
Okay, John.
Yes, sir.
Open up the PowerPoint. We'll do it from your computer.
Okay, cool.
The keynote. Open up the keynote.
I'm ready to go. Boom.
Okay, I'm going to make you the presenter for whatever
All right.
reason.
I'll be like Sully. I have the controls. I have the controls. All right.
Now press show. There we go. We're looking at a blank screen of yours.
Yeah, I'm seeing blank. I did hit show.
Okay, are you in keynote?
Yeah, I was. I mean,
Okay, please go.
Okay, here we
Please go
go.
up. It's showing?
yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool. So here's the
There you
thing.
go.
Thank you, Harlan. Thank you. And I can just go in and get online, and everybody's going to be able to see me, and life is good. So if
Yeah,
not,
here
we'll
we go.
figure it out. Okay, cool. So here's why this model is better than a typical television network or things like that. I mean, obviously, I already told you to buy a casino, it takes billions of dollars. So, you know, we don't want to play in that game, right? So what about a television network or a radio station? Harlan and I have a friend that owns a radio station in Chicago. Here is the thing. You don't need employees for this. So there's this myth. I'm going to get some of the myths about a publishing site, but there's this myth that you have to have all this content. I'm going to show you why it's not true. But you don't need employees. You don't need equipment. This is not about making videos. This isn't about, you know, filming really good shows, paying a lot of talent. It's scalable. That's the really cool thing. So if you're on television, you got prime time, and that's the time where you can sell your ads the most. If you're on radio, you got drive time, and that's where you can sell your ads the most. So there's only an infinite amount of those spots. With the internet, there's a finite amount of those spots. With the internet, it's infinite. So you're taking an old business model. This is where people really make money, by the way. When you take an old business model that has worked in one media and you move that business model to a media that is more infinite, which is what we're doing with the internet. And so this is really exciting for you, because if you have an internet connection, you can make this happen all over the world and kind of live that virtual lifestyle dream, and that's what I personally enjoy about it. So let me show you an example of this site. Let me know if you guys can see this. This is yourdailydish.com.
Yep.
Can everybody see that?
Yep.
All right. So here's what you got. It's a typical publishing site. And this is a site that's very similar to some of the ones that we produce. This is not our site. This is someone else's site that I'm using for an example. But look at this up here at the top. The very front top here, you have an ad, a QuickBooks ad. Does everybody see that?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, awesome. Over here to the side, you have another QuickBooks ad. Right down below here, you've got aged corporations for sale. These are all advertisements. And this is how you get paid on these sites. Now, one thing I want to point out, you don't put up the ads. It's not like you have to have a sales team to go out and get people to buy ads on your site. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is sign up with companies like Google, other companies, Content.ad, Taboola, and you plug into their system, and their ads automatically pop up on your site. So you don't even have to go get ads. Like, they're already there. And these companies already have traffic for all of those ads. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So now, one thing I want to point out, you see on the right bar here, all the different articles and quote unquote clickbait that's on these sites. So see what the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation cast look like now. I mean, what a great article, because who doesn't want to see that? Like, I want to see that. That's a huge movie, huge holiday movie. Everybody wants to see it. So this is an example of what one of these sites looks like. And I'll go back to my slideshow now, and I'm going to show you where the money's made on this. So basically, here's how it works. Someone's going to visit your site. This is ad arbitrage, by the way. So people are like, what arbitrage and this, and what's that mean? And okay, let me tell you. Someone visits your site, they click on an ad, you get paid. The end. Does that make sense?
Yes. Getting yeses, totally.
Yes or yes, as
Yes.
Alex Mandosian would say.
Yes.
So, okay, awesome. So basically, that's how ad arbitrage works in a nutshell. So how do I get people on my site? That's the next question, right? Oh, I know I get paid if people go to my site, but I don't want to go through all the SEO stuff. First of all, Kyle and I are not smart enough for SEO. There are no smart people on this webinar besides Harlan and his team, okay? So you don't have to be real bright. You don't have to do like algorithms and SEO and all that kind of stuff. We don't do any of that. What we do, there's this myth from a publishing site standpoint that you need to have amazing and fabulous content to make people come back over and over. Now, Harlan has an awesome site, the Dogington Post, that has just this. Kyle and I have a problem. We can't write like Harlan, right? We're not Harlan. That's why we pay Harlan to write sales letters for us, because we're not any good at that. So we don't do our sites like that, and I'm going to explain to you how we monetize our sites and how it's way easier. So you don't have to be Harlan. You don't have to have a team of editorial staff to create really good content.
By the way, can I say something that I've discovered?
Yes.
John and I were having a private discussion this week about something, and it turned out that the fact that my site is older and has a history with Google AdSense may in fact be working against me. So it is extremely possible that a newer site would do better than my site. And every single site that is making money with the program is newer than my site. So I'm going to point that out. You shouldn't start thinking, yeah, but Harlan's got the Dogington Post. This may be a case where the Dogington Post is a distinct disadvantage, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, there's no advantages. There's no advantage. And I'm going to show you why here in just a second. So great point, Harlan. Let's talk about the Super Bowl, and not the Super Bowl coming up, but the Super Bowl in general. It's the most watched television event of the year. And more people watch the Super Bowl, and more people are going to watch this Super Bowl than any time in history. There's going to be more people watching that program. So what happens is, go
Hold
ahead.
on a second. Oh, we got to do this, or John will never forgive me. Who's going to win the Super Bowl, Tar?
That would be Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos.
Okay, now
Yes, yes. And if you're a Panther fan, I like the Panthers after Peyton.
Or the rest of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're anybody besides John Tarr or outside of the Denver area.
Exactly.
Okay, we had to do that. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
No worries. I love it. I can't wait. I hope he gets him another one. So I'm excited about it. And so, yeah, see my Facebook page for various baby pics with Peyton Manning jerseys on. Yeah. So, okay. So here's the thing. I'm going to watch the Super Bowl, and you're probably going to watch the Super Bowl, and your wife or your husband is going to watch the Super Bowl. And that doesn't necessarily mean that, A, we're football fans. I mean, I am, but lots of non-football fans watch the Super Bowl. It doesn't mean that they're fans, and it doesn't mean necessarily that we're going to come back to whatever other content that network has. Because if it's Fox, I don't care about 24. I don't care about the X-Files. I'm not coming back to watch that content. I'm there to watch the Super Bowl. And advertisers are paying for that Super Bowl. That's what, when they pay that $2 million a minute, they're paying for that Super Bowl because they know how many people are going to be on it. So there's that myth that you have to have all this great content on your site because people are going to keep coming back. It's simply not true. I'm going to show you why it's not true in the next slide, so hang on for that. The second myth that we get a lot on this is, I was talking to a guy today, and he's like, oh, yeah, you just get cheap traffic. So you get cheap traffic from one place, you sell it to another place. The end. Yeah, I get the model. It doesn't really work like that either, and I'm going to explain that in a minute as well. It's not about cheap traffic, and it's not about having a bunch of cool content. So let me show you what it's about. Here's an example. Let's go back to the slideshows that I showed you when we first started out. Here's another example. Celebrity twins, 20 stars you didn't know were twins. And, now is that a good slideshow? I don't know. My wife is a twin, so I would probably be apt to click on this. So I'm going to start the slideshow, and I want you to see something here. So we got Scarlett and Hunter Johansson. And we've got ads. So now here we've got ads for the Beloved Hotel, ads for the Beloved Hotel. We're going to go next.
Looks like I'm paying for an expensive trip for John coming up is what that looks like.
Absolutely. You bet you are. Then you've got the Funders Club here. So you got a new ad over here. Do you see how when I click that, new ads appeared? Does everybody see that? It's really important that you understand that.
Yes.
All right,
yep.
Cool. So let's go ahead and click one more here.
Wow, Ashton Kutcher's twin there.
Yeah, I know. You got the raw end of that deal. So, okay, so here, more ads, right? So now you got the Wynn Las Vegas up here. You've got more ads, Lightroom, then you've got high consulting ticket clients from our friend Sam Ovens. So this is what happens. Every time you click through this slideshow, more ads appear. Now, how does that make you more money? I'm going to show you. And so now you're starting to understand why these myths are myths, in fact. So if you come to that slideshow, 20 hottest wives, and I want you guys to answer this honestly. If you come to a slideshow for 20 hot NFL wives to look at that when your wife's not home, right? Are you going back to that site? Like, you can't even find that site on the internet again. Like, let's be honest. You're not, like, wanting to devour the rest of their content. So, or even if it's like the top 50 or top 25 badass U.S. military things, like what was it called? The one we saw that was super cool, like 25 top badass U.S. military destroyer tools or whatever, planes,
weapons or something. Yeah.
Weapons, yeah, that was so cool. But I'm not coming back to that site to read anything else. I want to go through that slideshow and then I want to move on. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay,
yep.
cool.
Yeses, yeps.
Okay, so the key to building a virtual cash machine, building one of these things that kicks off a bunch of dough for you every day, is to create a winning slideshow, then drive massive amounts of traffic to it, paid traffic, and that's how you make your ad arbitrage. And if you have a great slideshow, you can keep your visitors engaged, and there's more money for you. So let me show you what I mean. Does that make sense as well? So just keep following along with me here.
Yes, totally.
All right, cool. I was talking to a guy yesterday, very well-known marketer in this space. He said to me, my site gets 2 million visitors a month, and his average revenue per visitor is 1.8 cents. So I want to take you through like a little scenario here of a tale of two sites. Our typical site, meaning mine, Kyle's, Casey, and Michael's, our average, and our students, our average visitor value is 15 cents. So that is the kind of the secret sauce of this whole thing. It's not about content. It's not about having a cool web page. It's not about getting indexed in Google. It's about having optimized ad placements and creative slideshows. So Kyle, take them through just a quick math lesson on why did B's site, as I'll call him, get 1.8 cents in revenue, and why does our sites get 15 cents in revenue? And I put the slideshow back up.
Yeah, okay. So you guys remember the slideshow, right? You saw John clicking through, and every time he clicked, he'd get, new ad impressions. And so if these slides are, 25 pages, 30 pages long, one visitor is actually going to get you, 20, 25, depending on how long they stay or how many pages your slideshow is. Your average visitor is going to give you like, 13 or 14 page visits that you get to refresh ads. Whereas our friend, as John mentioned, B, he has a website with some great content, but it's not set up in a slideshow. So they're just there for the one page, right? They read the article and there's some pictures, and then they click off and they're gone to the next thing. And so the reason he gets 1.8 cents a visitor is because that's about what he's making a page. But if you take 1.8 cents times our 14 pages for that same visitor, now all of a sudden that customer is worth, 15, 16, 20 cents, again, depending on how many slides you have. But that's why the magic is in the slideshow and the ad optimization that we have laid out for you guys. But it's really the magic of the slideshow to just make that visitor go from 1.8 cents to 10, 15 times that.
Yeah, and look at this. I know you guys don't fall into this trap, but some people fall into the trap where they're looking at this slideshow and look at all of these other slideshows. Celebs you didn't know passed away. I'm reading that, right? 17 creepy families with no morals. I don't know about that. 30 awkward child stars turned insanely hot. I'm reading that. 15 wives and girlfriends of the richest men in the world. I'm reading that. And so it is literally like you come into this, and then if your site has multiple slideshows, you can keep people engaged for a really long time. And you get paid by those impressions. You also get paid by the click, but if the ads change, that's a better opportunity for you to get a click. I mean, it's a numbers game, right? So it's just like the casino. If you play one hand, that's one hand. It's win or lose. If you play 100 hands, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. If you show somebody one ad, or let's say 3 ads, okay, that you've got a certain chance of them clicking. If you show them 50 ads in the 20 slides that they're there, they're probably going to click a few more. So wanted that to make sense so that you understand that. And everybody gets that, right?
Does that make sense to everybody? If you guys could type in the box, that'd be awesome. Yes. Yes, yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, lots of yeses.
All right, awesome. Cool. So Harlan, do you want to share your results right now, or do you want me to continue to roll through this?
No, I'll share my results, I promise. So hold on. Let me just bring them up.
FTC disclaimer, Harlan's results are not typical. We are not guaranteeing any results.
No, because I'm doing it wrong. If I was doing it right, there would be something to brag about. Okay. Hold on. Okay, tell me what you see, guys.
Okay, we're back to your Doggington post, Harlan.
Okay, so we talked about slides, okay? So here's one that we did. I'm just going to show you we've changed the whole site as much as possible now for slides. Songs about dogs you have to hear.
Oh, that's cool. I
Okay.
lost Harlan.
And
You there,
okay,
Harlan?
so here we go. Hello, can you hear?
Yeah, we
Can
got
everybody?
you back, but it looks like your screen's frozen again. Oh, there we go.
Are you seeing?
There we go. Yep,
Okay,
now we're
I'm
songs
sorry.
about dogs you have to hear.
Okay, so we have a lyric. Dogs have inspired humans all throughout history, and then there's the lyric. Who did that song? You click next, and it turns out it's Waylon Jennings, Waymore's Blues.
Awesome.
We go to the next one. We go to the next one. You never lie and you don't cheat. You don't have your baggage tied to your 4 feet. And this is from Nora Jones, Man of the Hour.
Hmm. That's cool.
And we go to the next one. I'll just show you this one more. I love my dog as much as you. Who wrote this song? And that was Cat Stevens. I love my dog. Now we go down here where we show some other articles. And whoops. And here's the next slideshow. Look who Miley Cyrus is sleeping with now.
By the way, I clicked on that all the way through today, by the way. Just FYI. You're
Okay.
welcome, Harlan.
Thank you. I hope you made it rich.
Yes.
Okay. And Miley is sharing her bed with her dogs. And it's taken time to load here. And that's because I'm on a really crappy internet connection in a hotel, but in real life it loads better. And these are all pictures of Miley and her dogs. And there are about 10 of them. We didn't buy the pictures. We took the pictures right off Miley's Instagram account, okay? And now, what these things do is we have the ads above. Now, I'm not doing the ads below correctly because we have some technical issues on the site. This should be 2 ads instead of 1. But even so, I am tripling my money. Now, I've been doing this here for literally 2 weeks. Now, let me refresh my results.
And while that's coming up, hey guys, I see you're asking a bunch of questions. We'll stick around at the end and go through and answer everybody's questions. So keep posting them, and we won't answer them now, but when we get to the end, we'll go back through and answer all your questions for you.
Okay, now, let's just look at this. Last month, without doing this, I made $1,400 on AdSense. That was just my site. In the last 2 weeks, I made close to, we'll go over $3,000 today. Now, would you rather have $1,400 in a month, or would you rather have $3,000 in 2 weeks? Tell me which one you'd rather have. And my internet is really slow. What are they saying? Which one would they have? I can't
3K and 2, 3K, 3K.
Okay, so here's yesterday. Now you're only seeing part of the equation. This is my AdSense. I made $369.75. But I also made another $70 off Taboola. So my investment yesterday of $200 investment paid me back $430. How many people, if you gave me $200 and I gave you back $430, how many days would you want to give me money? And again, I can't see anything because it's so slow, but what are they saying?
They're saying every day, each and every day, all of them, every day.
Okay,
Every
that's
single
what's
flipping
going
day.
on. This is what's going on here. Now, the day is only about a third, two-thirds over, okay, somewhere around there. And it's where I am, it's about 3 p.m. Where you in East Coast, it's 4 p.m. And I'm up to 237 today. So I will probably do at least as good as yesterday, possibly even better. Okay? And this is the kind of thing that is going to make some serious money. So, you know, while Wall Street is in the toilet, and I looked at things that like gold and silver, which are traditional things that people run to when the market is low, they're losing money. You know, silver is about the lowest I've ever seen it. Gold is just about above the lowest I've ever seen it. But this is day in, day out, and once you get one of these slideshows that works, you just ride it for a really long period of time. Okay? Now, these are real earnings. This is, you're looking in my AdSense account, and this is real. This is real, okay? And I have now the AdSense app on my phone, and I have to tell you, it's like a little kid clicking my AdSense to see, okay, how much has it gone up? How much has it gone up? I'll go do it now. It's going to take a while to load, but you'll see, in between the time I show this and now, somebody clicked on an ad. It's going to, ooh, there it goes. Somebody clicked on an ad. And this happens throughout the day. I'm sitting there going, okay, I wonder what it's going to be now. And by the time of bedtime, by the time of midnight tonight, you know, it's going to be probably where it was yesterday. Same spend, same numbers, and whatever. And we're very rapidly going to go over $3,000 for about 2 weeks. And that's really, really exceptional kind of money, especially since I get up in the morning. It takes me maybe like 5 or 10 minutes to check in, adjust my bids for the day, and then that's it. All I do is just look and see how I did for the end of the day. This is not something that requires monitoring. It's not like trading stocks or anything like that. This is literally set it up, set it for, and forget it. So, and gosh, once the slideshow is set up, there's literally no work. So we have so many of these slideshows. There, the picture showed up of Miley, okay? And then when we click next, it's going to bring up another slideshow of Miley with her with another dog. Look who she's sleeping with. And there she is, okay? And by the way, just to get a little bit of attention, because I'm that kind of a person, this is the picture that I'm using at the beginning of the ad to get people to click on it, right? There's a picture everybody can relate to. Can everybody see that picture of Miley?
Yeah, and that's why I clicked on it. I was like, oh, what's this? Who's Miley sleeping with now?
Right. And that's we want to get people's attention. Now, personally, not a fan of Miley. I don't care what she does. I like that she's nice to dogs. But the bottom line here is we know what people want. People are fascinated by celebrity. And you saw my numbers, folks. This is not pie in the sky stuff. This is simple stuff. Here's one here on the right-hand side. You can see it at the bottom of my screen. My dog's horoscope. Okay, that's another slideshow. So we're trying everything. And then down here are Taboola ads, and they pay me. Okay, more ads. Anytime someone clicks on one of these things, I get paid. And so it makes your site extremely profitable. Okay, I'm going to turn this back over to you, John, okay?
Awesome, Harlan. Thank you for sharing.
Okay, well, now if I could only get my thing to...
I think I can make him. Let me see if I can do it, too.
Either of you guys can do it. Either of you guys can do it. So one of you guys, there you go.
Right. How many marketers does it take to run a go-to webinar?
In mine and John's case,
if I were in my office, this would work better. I should be embarrassed, but hey, what the heck.
Obviously, you do not have to have a lot of technical skills to do this. So everybody there that's not real techie, be not afraid. So, okay, what's so cool about this? So Harlan just went through his results. We're going to show you some of our results too, which are pretty exciting. The cool thing about this is it's scalable. And so there's no products, right? You don't have to go buy a bunch of inventory. You don't have to make a bunch of stuff. It's very scalable. So you don't have to have any of that. It's no merchant account issues. You don't have to have a merchant account. None of that kind of stuff. You're not dealing with that. And no list building. You don't have to go build a list and hope one day that it pays you back. So you're not dealing with any of that, which I think is phenomenal. So because technically you can really start making money immediately because you don't have any of those things. And once you start making money, since there's nothing to sell, all you have to do is get more clicks. That's how it's scalable. So another thing I want to point out that I think is pretty awesome about this, Kyle, talk about this briefly. We were affiliates. You wake up every day. It's a complete hustle. It's a lot of money. I mean, we would make a lot of money, 20, 30 grand profit some days. But then the next day you're waking up and you're hustling again. It wasn't sellable. These are sellable assets. You're building a sellable asset that is worth 2 times earnings basically in 12 months and 3 to 4 times earnings in 24 months. It's amazing what people will pay you for these sites. So Kyle, talk about that like just briefly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump.
Oh,
hold on.
We'll let
Kyle
do it, Harlan.
Let me just jump in.
Sure.
And then I'm going to have to I'm going to have to run because the connection is so bad. So if you guys can hear me, just listen up. A guy by the name of Scott DeLong started a website, and in 18 months, one of these websites, he was making more than $400K a month. Okay, that's what he publicly admitted to or was guessed, and that was just AdSense. Nobody knew what he was making from Taboola or any of the other things. He turned around and sold that website in 18 months. This is exactly what John and Kyle are talking about. He sold the website for $100 million. The website is viralnova.com. Glenna, if you would type it in, viralnova.com. They do the exact same thing that they're teaching here, except Viral Nova never explained how to do what they're doing. And $100 million. So if you want to know what the potential of this thing is, and they're talking about selling it, this is absolutely insane here.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And check this out here. I just brought this up real quick. This is a good example of this is another site that buys and sells sites. So if 120 million blows you away, take a look at this. Here's an AdSense site. It's making $7,000 a month, and they're going to sell it for, or they're trying to sell it for $231,000. So thank you, Joel. We're not going to
crap. I mean, that means that your guys, that means that guys who do this program for 2 or 3 months can turn around and flip this site for that kind of money.
Exactly.
That's insane.
Yes, exactly. That's what we think too. It's unbelievable. So you're creating a sellable asset, and that's legit. And so not only have you heard that from Arlen, but I just showed you that's one website. There's a lot of other websites, a lot of business brokers you can sell these to. Guys just eat these kind of things up because they've got 401ks, they've got money to spend, and they want to buy these sites. And there's a nice sweet spot in there. They want to get rid of that corporate job. So something to think about there. And then it's pretty flexible because if you own a commercial building or if you own real estate, it's not very flexible. I mean, there's not a lot of ways to increase your revenue on that. You've got different things. And this is just basically a site. It's living in air, and you're driving traffic to it. So it's quite frankly the damnedest thing ever. It's awesome that the world has expanded and become what it's become with these kind of sites. So it's flexible. And here's something really cool. And Harlan actually brought this to the table for us. It's fundable. So sometimes AdSense and some of these other companies want to pay you every 30 or 60 days. But the cool thing is there are institutional companies out there that will fund your traffic because they know you're getting paid more than you spend. And because you're getting paid by big companies like Google and Content.ad, they'll fund you. And so it's pretty amazing. It's absolutely cool. And when you start getting into bigger numbers, like you'll see one of our sites that Casey and Michael run, their main site. I mean, you can get into spending 20 or 30,000 a day in advertising on this, and I don't want to blow you away there. That's just what we do. It's not what you have to do, but you get into 20 or 30,000 a day on one of these sites, and so that funding becomes very, very important. So if you're worried about the funding, you don't have to be. There's funding out there, and they don't care about your credit. They don't care about any of that. They care about that campaign and what it's bringing to AdSense. That's what they fund you off of.
Yeah,
anything
they will
to add there, Kyle? Yeah.
Yeah, let me just jump right in. And so, like Harlan mentioned, he's spending $200 a day. If you didn't have the $200 a day to spend to float that for, the 50 days or whatever it takes AdSense to pay, these companies for like 1.2% will fund you up to daily. So if you needed another $200 tomorrow, they will fund you every day based on what you made yesterday. So, and again, they don't even look at your credit. They don't care. They know that you've made the money in AdSense, so they're willing to just pay it French of the dough.
It's pretty awesome. So, all right, cool. Let's go on to the case study. Kyle, can you pop this link into the chat for everybody?
Yep.
Here is a link. So I've been talking about Casey Curtis and Michael Wilkins. I will spare you guys the story of how wonderfully awesome these guys are. But we partnered with them. Kyle and I partnered with them because they were students of ours in an old training that we had done a long time ago. And Casey is Kyle's cousin. We taught him how to do online marketing. They got into this content site stuff and just really started to kill it. They're really smart guys. They started to do very well. And Taboola actually did a case study on them about how effective their strategies are in relation to Taboola. So I'll let you read that on your own, but here's just more social proof that this is real. And Casey and Michael, they're involved in this whole thing. They are not here today, but you can see, it's real. I mean, it's all
John,
real.
do you want to know where they are?
Yeah, please tell me.
Well, today Casey is at Universal Studios with his girlfriend, and Michael and his girlfriend are up at Disneyland just hanging out.
Nice.
That's what those guys are up to.
Yeah, these guys work about, what they say, 3 hours to 5 hours a week.
Yeah. And then they have board meetings, which is
They have board meetings, which are actually them taking their surfboards out to the Pacific. They live in San Diego. They call it a board meeting. So, and it's awesome. I did an interview with them, and they literally talk about, well, some weeks we have to work, like, we'll put in 10 or 15 hours if we really got to work on something. So they're just awesome guys, and you guys will get a kick out of them. But anyway, there's that case study right there where they talk about that on Taboola, which is a pretty big and reputable ad network. So now let's talk about this. Harlan was saying, and then right after I show you this example, I'm going to get into your blueprint. Kyle's going to take you through exactly how to build one of these sites. So, if you choose not to work with us, that's cool. We're going to show you how to do it, basically. And so here's the thing. Harlan started making a couple $100s a day. You can make $1,000 a day. Really, the sky is the limit on what you can hit with one of these sites. As he said, with Viral Nova, it was making 400 and some grand. Is Scott the guy that we work with from Viral Nova?
We're actually dealing with the CEO now.
The guys who took it over.
Yeah, Sean.
Okay, cool. So awesome. So yeah, we've partnered with them on a couple of different projects, but I was just curious because everybody always asks me that. So hey, Kyle, why don't you and I just have a conversation about business while these
right.
people have to sit and listen to us, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they love it. Yeah. So here is a little Excel spreadsheet that we kind of track for. We do this per site so that we know, because we have a few of these sites. You don't have to have a lot of them. We just have a lot of them for various reasons based on our model. And you can see that some days, the profit gets pretty good. I mean, here's, let's go over to, 1128, $4,395. There's down at the bottom, 1218, $7,400. 1217, $8,600. That's in a day. That's profit in a day.
For the record here, John, this was actually before we had the funding. And so we didn't know about that until the end of December. So all the things you're seeing here is we were trying to float and just trying to spend what we could and hold on as long as we could until we got that money back in. And then we discovered the funding sources, the beginning of January, which really cleared up a bunch of the money and has really started to let us scale now.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean, for not selling a product, not having a list, if you can make $8,700 in a day, $7,600 in a day, obviously that's pretty significant. So here's a screenshot. Let me see if that comes up there. There's one of our AdSense accounts. So
Can
Harlan
you slide
was showing
to the left a little bit?
Well, it's not coming up great on here. So let me see if I can do this. If we want to see the legit one, there it is right there. So you can see that. That's for one of our sites. And Kyle, you said that this makes up about 25% of our revenue?
Yeah, so as you start to scale, you saw in Harlan, so when we start out, the students, they start with AdSense and, either Taboola or, Outbrain or Rev Content, Content.ad, one of the other ones probably. And AdSense will generally be about, 60% of your revenue typically. But then once you start to scale, AdSense, we rely less and less on AdSense. So now when we're scaling and doing, 10, 20K a day, that number gets down to about 20, 25% is what AdSense makes up of our revenue. So yeah, it's pretty good though, because we don't want to have all our eggs in the AdSense basket.
Yeah, and so if you're in a situation where you want to do some pretty big and significant numbers, I wanted to illustrate that opportunity is available for you. If you want to make a few $100s a day, you can certainly do that, and that's awesome too. So so I don't want you to think that you don't that the sky's not the limit, because it is. So Kyle, tell them and grab some a pen, a piece of paper, write this down. Kyle's going to take you through a quick blueprint. Obviously, we don't have 5 hours to take you through, a 5-foot view, but we're going to take you through a 5,000-foot view of how to put this site together. So Kyle, tell them about the content articles and the first step to creating their site.
Yeah, so as you guys know, if you guys have been in, what was that?
You can see that screen?
Yep, yeah, we got it.
Okay, cool.
So if you guys have been in Harlan stuff, you know that you got to have an AdSense account. And AdSense isn't going to let you just put their ads on a white screen. You actually have to have some content on your site. So one of the first things we do is we get students up and running with their 20 websites, and we show them where to go get 20 articles. And these articles,
20 articles, not 20 websites.
yeah, I'm sorry, 20 articles that are 350 words or so. And they just have to be somewhat original, 20%, 30% if you're curating. We recommend, just going to Fiverr, having somebody, go out and spin you some articles and get them up on your site. The English doesn't have to be great. The grammar doesn't have to be great, because the bottom line is nobody's ever going to go back and look at those except the Google bot that just wants to make sure you've got some content on your site. So you need about 20 content articles, 350 to 450 words roughly. Get them up there, get your AdSense account if you don't already have one. People ask, can I only have one AdSense account? You are allowed to have more than one AdSense account per, but you need to put it under a different either social or tax ID number. So if you've got an LLC, if you've got a couple LLCs, each LLC can have its own AdSense account.
Yeah,
so anyway,
let's just talk on the article real quick. It has to be unique. So you can't just scrape an article and put it up there, because Google will slap you for that.
Yeah, if you're going to do that, you better spin it. So, and there are spinners out there, and that's how we do a lot of our stuff, is just spinning.
Yeah, spin. All right, cool. So then the next step is you got your site up. The articles basically just help with the architecture of your site. And so now you got to create a winning slideshow, which is actually super fun. So talk about kind of our process for creating a winning slideshow.
So again, that's going to be research. There's tools out there like AdBeat. There's just you personally, when you're scrolling through, like John will send us links all the time when he's, on ESPN or on Facebook, and, a slideshow comes up that he's interested in or that he likes, and he clicks all the way through. And so if you're interested in something, throw it up there. Harlan's interested in dogs, and so he does dog slideshows all the time, and those do well for him because he's passionate about it and he has fun and they're interesting, right? And so generally what you're going to want is something that appeals to the broad population, something about celebrities, sports stars, like the football wives or Miley Cyrus, or things like that. What you want, things that are going to appeal to the general public but are interesting, right? And so there's AdBeat, like I mentioned. You can go to Facebook and see what's out there. You can see what people have been sharing the most. Things like that are going to be what you do for research. But this is where it's actually fun. And we've actually had lots of people, we were actually going to talk about, we're trying to channel our inner Harlan, and we're like, some of the hooks for the webinar or the course could be like, we're making marriages better, because we get lots of comments from the students in the course that they have so much fun making these slideshows and like bouncing ideas off with their wife, and they're discussing with their wife, hey, what's a great idea for a slideshow, and they're actually like opening up those lines of communication. So we're going to use that as one of our hooks. But this is the fun part, right? You get to think about what you would want to click on, what's really interesting to you, and make it somewhat appealable to the general public. You don't want to do something like the 12 longest roads in Kissimmee, Georgia, or something, Kissimmee, Florida, or something, right? Because that's not going to appeal to the broad public.
And then I'll move on to the next point. Let me say this. I'm going to revisit this in a second, but I want you to think about this while you're listening to the next 5-10 minutes here. The riches are not in the niches in what we do, which is actually a really, really good thing for you. And let me explain. When the riches are in the niches, you have to get a niche, research the niche, know a lot about the niche. Nobody knows a lot about stuff that you like but you. And real people do really well with this, because real people are the ones clicking on this stuff. So it's not a lot of, like when we say research, it's not a lot of research to figure out a lot of niche things. It's like fun stuff, like, oh, I click on that. And so keep that in mind. If you're a real person and you're not a marketer, I mean, if you're a marketer, you obviously get it, you know what we're talking about. But if you're a real person, don't be afraid, because it's really easy for you. So Kyle, talk about testing the slideshows to see if you have a winner. First of all, I want to say you can outsource the slideshow stuff, and that's typically what we do. So all this stuff can be outsourced, and then when you start to test your traffic, you basically start testing with about 50 bucks a day. You don't go hog wild and spend a bunch of money. So there's not really a significant investment. Tell them about that.
Yeah, so we start our campaigns at 50 bucks a day on Outbrain, and Outbrain's a place that you can go to buy traffic. It's like buying Facebook ads at Facebook or Google AdWords traffic, but Outbrain is the one we use, and we spend 50 bucks to start, and we bid 50 cents per click, which is high. I know you guys are going to be like, well, how do you ever make money, blah, blah, blah. And then day 2, we bid 50 bucks again, and we decrease our bids to 25 cents. So we get twice as many clicks that day. And then day 3, we spend 50 bucks again and reduce our bid down to 15 cents. And we have this outlined in the course if you get in there, so you don't have to write that down. But each day for the first 4 days, we only spend 50 bucks, and we gradually reduce our bids down to 10 cents. And then on day 5, we're generally pretty close to making a profit if we aren't yet. And if we're not, we'll continue to lower those bids, you know, and only spending 50 bucks. Now keep in mind, while you're spending that 50 bucks, you're still making revenue. So on day 1, you might spend 50 bucks and you might make 10 bucks back. And day 2, you might make 30 bucks back. So you're not losing the whole 50. And so generally by day 3, by day 4, if you've got a good slideshow, you'll start to be in the green, and then it's just a matter of scaling from there.
Yeah, and so then, you know, of course, like we said to start out with, it's all about that slideshow, and then like Harlan, once you get it up to a couple $100 a day, you start to scale from there, put the money in the bank. That's basically how this works. So let's go through what some other people are saying, then let's recap, and let's open it up for some questions and find out where you guys are at and what information you need. So we're about finished up here. This is a friend of mine who's in the training, Stephen Yen. A fair warning to John Tarkabel, Michael Wilkins, Casey Curtis. My clients from my regular business are not too happy with you boys. He basically says, I'll let you guys read the rest of it. He said, we ended the day with $200.93 spend on Outbrain, revenue $310.97 from AdSense, and $109.54 from Content.ad. Total profit $219.58 at a 209.28% return. So he said, it's not the easiest 200 I ever made, but it's pretty close. Loving the no sales letter, client service, product shipment, and refund part of this business. I mean, he's basically saying, I don't want to deal with my clients anymore because this is way more fun. And it's making me, you know, good money. So it's a great, and you know Stephen, Kyle, he's awesome.
Yeah, he is.
So Richard says, today was my first profitable day. These are actual screenshots from our Facebook stuff. I could put up 100 of these, but, you know, I don't want to just kill you with that. Here's a guy who Kyle helped. He tweaked this site. Guy went from losing money. Kyle helps him tweak it. He starts making $1,000 a day profitable. Now he wants to go to 3. And at the very bottom there, he says he's coming for Casey. He's going to make more money than Casey. So, so lots of people getting lots of great results using this model, which we really enjoy. So let's go through a quick recap here, and then let's open it up for questions. We'll tell you a little bit about how to work with us. So quick recap. You can build this site for
rehab?
Yeah, right. So Amy Winehouse style. You can build this site for less than $100 with no tech hassles. All right, it's just easy. So if you're not technically savvy, you don't have to worry about it. These sites are not, they're not real technical. You can sell these sites to other people through business brokers, etc. It's a real asset. So you'll be building a real business. Guy said to me in Cancun a few weeks ago, he had a pet food business. In Michigan, he said to me, hey, John, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a real business. And I said, well, you know what? It seems like a real business every time they make a deposit into my bank account. So remember that. If they're paying you, it's a real business. So, you know, this is the same way. You don't need to gather advertisers. The ads are automatically put on your site by Google, other big companies, so you don't have to worry about that. That's not something you need to do. You do not need tons of content, only the necessary amount to be compliant. So you don't have to go thinking you need to be an amazing content curator, although if you are, more power to you. You do not need cheap traffic or some weird hack. This isn't about hacking the system, something that's going to work for 3 weeks and then it's not going to work anymore. This is a sustainable, long-term business. All you need to do is do a little research, find a winning topic, or outsource that. And you don't need to be a guru or a traffic expert or a big company. So all you have to do is be you, and real people actually do well at this because like Kyle said, you know, you're sitting there with your wife, you're trying to figure out a cool slideshow. I sent Kyle a slideshow last night. I was up watching an ESPN 30 for 30, and I happened to stumble upon, I was doing a little work, and I happened to stumble upon the top running back seasons for all 32 franchises, NFL franchises. And of course, I click all the way through because I want to see the top running back year and the top running back for each one. And so, you know, it's fun. It's a lot of fun to see these things. It's a lot of fun to come up with them. And these are the things that you'll be dealing with here. So it's pretty cool. Here's our offer. Here's what Kyle and I do. And we've been doing this for a little while. We've been helping people set up their sites. So we're going to show you how to build your own virtual cash machine. If you're interested in having a site that's already done making revenue, you can, you know, we'll talk about that on the phone with you as well. But basically, we take you through an 8-week intensive training where we basically pull the curtain back on our business and what we're doing, what we do to make money, how we monetize it, the different ad layouts, all that kind of stuff. Nothing's held back, as Harlan will tell you. We're going to reveal the entire business. We don't hold anything back. We share everything with you that we would share with anyone else. So here's kind of what you get. You get the step-by-step training. You get all of our checklists that we've put together. Actually, we put those together for existing people in the training. You're going to get those checklists. You're going to get our process maps. You're going to get our videos showing you exactly how to do this. You're going to get the actual website theme that we use. Now, this is huge. Kyle, tell them why. I said that this is worth thousands. It's probably worth millions of dollars. Can you explain to them why that is?
Yeah, well, repeat your question here. I'm going through the questions on the side.
So my question is basically, why is that website theme worth so much money that we're giving
because, yeah, the optimization of where the ads are and where the ads are placed gives you so much more revenue if they're placed in the right spots. And so what we do is we have a theme in the plugin, you know, that actually creates the slideshows and stuff for you. But the way the theme is laid out optimizes the ad layout for you, and we know it works, right? So there's a million themes out there, and some may work better or may not, but this is the one we've tested, and this is the one we send all our students through, and that's the one they use first to start making the money because we know it works, and we know the ad placements work, so that's why we guys do it. It took us, I don't know, $200K in testing to try and find it before we actually figured out one that would work best for all you guys, so please accept it.
Yeah, and this isn't like, you know how you see stuff on the profit where the guy's like, well, I put 200 grand into this business, and it's still not making any money, but he thinks it's worth like $8 million. And this is like, we spent 200 grand, and now you see the AdSense results. You know, when you're making 8 grand a day, that's almost 300 grand a month. And that's $3.6 million a year. Do that math as to what this website is actually worth that you'll be getting. It's big. It's a big deal. So it's cool, and we're giving it to you because that's what's going to help you hit the ground running. We're giving you that layout. And then we do one live event every quarter. We're starting to do that. It's a relatively new training for us. It's not like we've ran hundreds of people through this, but we're doing one live event a quarter where everybody can come and we can work in teams and help you continue your website and get it up where you need to go.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
We have, there's actually 2 of our students on this. Steven's one of them.
Nice.
Here, do you want me to read what he just wrote in the chat? Can everybody see his question? I don't want people to think I'm making this up. Maybe I should just put him on. Should I just put him on?
Can you do that?
You bet I can. Hey, Steven, we're going to put you on. Hopefully you got a, whatever that's called, a mic. Let's go to SSF. There's another guy on here, too, from the course who's at 50% profit today.
Oh, nice.
Michael Smith. Where are you, Stephen Yen? Unmute Stephen. Stephen, you there? This could be a
breaker.
breaker 19.
Nice. Well, while you're pulling him up,
Okay.
if he's there, if you guys are interested in working with us, here's
Oh,
what
he has
like.
no mic. He has no mic. I'll take a screenshot of his text, though.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Stephen, for the kind words. He's awesome. And so here's the thing. We like to deal with people who take action because people who take action are more fun. And so it's not like a business opportunity offer or anything like that where you're going to buy something and then you're never going to use it and basically it's not going to work. So what we do is we send you to this place here, onlineheavenproject.com. That's what we call it. It's Online Heaven. Fill out an information form. Let us know where you're at today in your business. You know, if it's online, if you don't have a business, that's okay. Just put that in there. Then we get on the phone with you. We have a quick chat. And if we feel like you're a good fit for us, and obviously if you feel like you're a good fit for us, then we'll make you an offer to participate in the training. So those offers come to the people we think are a good fit. And that's really legit. If we think somebody's not a good fit, we're just not going to work with them. Not because they're a bad person, but we don't want to take your money if, it's not a good fit for you or it's not the right time for you or whatever. So let's open it up to some questions, and Kyle and I will answer as many as we can. And I'll leave that link up there so that you can see it. And if you want to apply, go there and apply, and then we'll get on the phone. We take these calls very seriously, by the way. So you're going to get an opportunity to set up an appointment right then when you fill out the application. And so we will be there. So if you set up an appointment, please be there. And it's first come, first serve. We've got a lot of people on the webinar right now. So if you set your appointment up, you've got openings. If you don't act pretty quickly, you'll get bumped to later in the week, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So,
so here, I'm just going to read it. I copied it and posted it to everybody, so everybody should be able to read it. But this is what Steven says today. Steven here. Dude, that post was a week ago, and it felt like forever already. I'm seriously considering firing my new $10,000 client so I can focus on this stuff. We're at $1,400 per day. It doesn't feel like a real business, though. It's more like Monopoly Mind. The only problem is with my marriage. My wife has been looking at me funny when I'm doing research, in quotes, for my ideas. That's awesome,
that's
Steve.
awesome. Yeah, well, congratulations, man. That's really exciting. I know he was excited when I spoke with him on the phone the first time. We've known him for a while.
Yeah.
We're in a mastermind group with him, and so we've known him for a while, but that's super awesome.
My question is, he just can't get enough of us? He wants to jump on a webinar again with us?
Well, hey, we're entertaining people. Yeah.
Okay, so first question from Ryan. Can we do this with Harlan's Page View Exploder? Ryan, I have no clue what system that is of Harlan's. Maybe not, but what he has told the other students of his that came into the course is just to follow our guidelines and follow what we tell you because it works better than what he was doing. So
yeah.
Take that for what that's worth.
Let me repeat Harlan too, where he's like, just paint in the numbers. Do exactly what they say and you'll make money. So.
And then this next one is from Nanu or something. I apologize if I butchered your name. He asks, is there a way this can work without changing the entire page? Same URL, but change the slide and ads. My audience is not going to like having to load a new page every time they want a new slide, and I'm thinking I might lose traffic. Has this happened to you? I'll answer that a couple ways. One, it doesn't matter if you just start up a brand new page. You could do that. The second thing is, if you want to make more money, you should put the slideshow in and put the ads and change the theme. We had a guy who already had an existing list, and he had a big following on Facebook, and he was trying to do it under his same template, and it just wasn't working. The second he changed it, he made an extra $20K his first month doing it without even paid traffic. That was just from the lists and the emails and his following that he already had. So I would recommend changing it. People aren't going to get mad because they actually, they like those things. They like seeing what's out there, as long as it's relevant to your target, by the way, though.
If they don't like it, they won't click it. And here's another thing. To be what Harlan said, but not aggressive about it. Just do what we tell you to do. So if you hire a personal trainer and he gives you a diet, you don't get off the diet. You do exactly what he says because that's what's going to work. And we have tested this, and we know it works, and we know it engages people, and we know you'll make a lot more money.
Yep. Then Tim Johnson asks, how do you make the slideshows? Is that the plugin you provide in SuperSite Formula? I don't know what plugin he gives in SuperSite. We have a plugin that we use to make those. So literally, you just, wherever you want the next page to show up, you just type in next page with a couple arrows, and it does it for you. I don't know how, it just does it, but yeah.
Yeah, and as far as like actually putting the slideshow together, we don't even do that. We outsource it.
Yeah.
So.
Naomi asks, how do you legally use celebrity images for your slideshows? Like Harlan mentioned, if you get them off of Instagram or their public feeds that they're posting, you can get those. If you're painting these celebrities in good light, what celebrity does not like you to use their image? So we have never run into an issue, and we're sending a lot of traffic. We do cite our sources for images. So underneath our images, we'll say, CNN image source CNN.com or wherever we get the image. So we do teach you how to do that. So we're legally sourcing them, but we're not out, paying for paparazzi photos.
Nice. When did you become an attorney? Has this happened in the last hour and a half?
No. Well, that is not my legal advice. If you want legal advice, seek the counsel of an attorney.
Yeah, I'm joking.
And we don't guarantee results. Deborah asks, I guess you need to have a good budget to be buying traffic. Well, that depends. I mean, Steven is starting to build up, and he's making $1,400 a day. I don't know if he's using the funding or not. Steven, if you're around, maybe you could answer that. But, Harlan was spending $200 a day, and if you don't want to float that until AdSense pays you, then you can use that funding company, and they'll pay you every day if you need to. So, I mean, you don't need to have as big a budget. And we had a couple students who are like, well, I don't want to pay 1%, or that's if you do it weekly. If you do it monthly, it's even less than that. It's like 0.8%. I don't want to pay that, blah blah blah, because it's my money. And then one guy did it, and he was doing $200 profit a day, and now he borrowed the money from those guys, and now he's making like $1,000 a day. So, I mean, he makes up the fees in less than 2 hours for what he's going to borrow.
Like anything else, though, when you look at our sites, I mean, if you look at LeBron James, right, or a big bodybuilder, they've been doing it a long time. So you're not going to look like that to start out with, and you're not going to do the same things that they do. So where we spend $8, $10, $20, $30,000 a day, that's what we do. We've been doing it a while. With you start out with $50 a day. I mean, and then as that makes money, as you see that the profit comes in, you will want to spend more money, because the more money you spend, the more money you make. But you're not going to start there. You're going to start at what's comfortable for you. Yep.
Deborah, brilliant question. This is a good one. How many slideshows per site? Well, if you want, we have guys that are just they got one slideshow up, their first one worked, and they haven't changed that slideshow for the past 3 months. And once you start to scale, if you have a really good one, they'll last 3 to 6 months at 5, 6, 7, 10K a day spend on that slideshow. So you don't really have to add a bunch if you've got a limited budget and you don't really want to put in a ton of work. If you get one winner, you can just let it cruise.
Like a marriage. Once you find one you like, that works, just go with that.
Nick asks, what is the average investment? So, I mean, you're into the website and hosting and articles for less than $500.
It's really not even that much. I mean, it's less than that even. I was trying to quantify it, and I mean, I think you could probably get it done for less than a couple hundred.
Yeah, it's probably $250 if you throw in ad spend, but we'll say $500 to be safe. Okay, so Pat S., how long do you have to wait before getting paid by AdSense? How long for Outbrain and others? So AdSense is monthly net 21. So whatever you made in January, say we're using January for an example, whatever you make in January, you will get paid on February 21st. And most of the other ones are net 30. So you'd get, instead of the 21st, you'd get paid on February 30th or I guess 29th this year.
Yeah. And who asked that question? What was his name?
Oh boy, I just deleted the question.
Oh, sorry. Well,
I
it's
think
just
maybe Pat.
I think it was Pat. But Pat, here's the thing. That's why, if you can float that, then you float it. If you can't float it, then, and you're making 200% a day, you borrow that money at not even 1% a day. I think it's 1% a month, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
you borrow the money at 1% a month, and you're home free. It's an arbitrage game. So borrowing money and scaling up is part of the business. So don't let the float deter you, because it's not really a big deal. In essence, you're not floating at all. You're going to float for a day.
Yeah. Pat asked, do you guys point us in the direction of financing once we get our site up?
Oh, yeah.
The company's in there, posted in there. So Deborah asked, how often do we change the slideshows? Oh, it's pretty similar. So we use one and we run it till it starts to burn out, and that can be as long as 3 to 6 months. Do you use several ad companies on one site? Yes, we do. When you start, you'll use two. You'll use AdSense and one of the native ad platforms, probably content.ad. And then as you get going, you'll continue to add more and more. Paul says, yeah, theme. No, let's see. Does it help to run other traffic to your page? Yeah, I mean, all the traffic you can get will do good. I mean, if you've got a big following on Facebook and you put up a post and a lot of people go to your site, then that's free money. And that's like what one of the guys I said did, who had his own following already. He didn't even spend any money on traffic the first month to make his extra 20K. It was just the free traffic, email drop to his list, and some Facebook posts.
Yep, good quality traffic though. Don't
go to Craigslist and start spamming people on Craigslist to go to your site.
Yeah, or yeah, exactly. So you want really good traffic.
Then Keith asked, what about buzzfixtoday.com? That's an awesome name for one of these sites, if that's a question. I don't know if you already have that site and you're already doing this or not, but I do like the name. Deborah said, do you only do one slideshow? Oh, she asked that question again. You can add more. I mean, you don't have to just do one, but what if we get banned from AdSense? We've had guys that have had banned AdSense before come, and they ask that same question, and you're allowed to have more than one AdSense account, just not per social or per tax ID. So if you've got two LLCs, like we said earlier, just throw up a different, use the other LLC with a different mailing address, and you'll be good to go.
And let me make this clear too. We don't do anything that would violate any of AdSense's requirements. So by doing this, if you're already banned, then you can get a new account, but you're not going to get banned doing what we do, because we only send high quality traffic and we take AdSense's requirements and guidelines to heart and very serious. So there's no banning from our traffic sources.
Yeah, case in point, like some of those native ads that you see get pretty racy. We only select like PG ads on our page that we will allow people to show, so that we don't ever run into any issues with AdSense, because we don't want that to disappear, right? That's like our golden goose. So you don't want to make that that one disappear. Have you rented Spots TP advertisers? I don't know what that means, Bill. John, do you understand that? Have you rented Spots TP advertisers?
Yeah, what Bill's asking is, do we rent space on our site?
To advertisers.
No.
Oh, okay.
We do that all through the other platforms. We're not gonna. We don't see. We don't do any of that to actual vendors or anything.
Yeah, no, we don't. That's going to take a ton of time trying to sell that out. Bill, about how much time needed before we can get funding? Well, I mean, it takes 3 or 4 days to go through that process of them, getting access to your account, and because what they do is they'll actually change where AdSense pays. They'll send it to them first, and then they pay you the balance, and then they'll loan you based on that, but they have to get in and change the pay information. So 3 or 4 days, and then they'll just start. Then it can start as soon as then. So pretty quick. How long does it take to create a site till you can launch it? Toby, I'm not sure what you mean by launch, but I mean, as soon as you buy a domain and get those 20 articles up, and those 20 articles you can buy on Fiverr and spend, you know, $100 if you wanted to, and have them done that same day. So then you're just going to be waiting for Google AdSense to approve your page, or your site. So sometimes that takes 3 days, 2 days. Sometimes it takes, I mean, we've had guys even take up to 9 or 10 days, which is fairly long. The average is probably 2 days, but it could take a little longer. But that's what you'd be waiting the longest for, is probably AdSense to approve your site. Deborah asked, do you need a private server for hosting? We recommend some hosting companies. Liquid Web has a WordPress version that does pretty good. We would not recommend a shared hosting like GoDaddy type thing. Toby asked, how much money do you need to get started buying traffic? Like I said, we spent $50 a day the first day. Let's see. Bradley asked, I missed most of the webinar, will there be a replay later today or tomorrow? I think Harlan did. I think, well, he had an issue with his recording, but I think Glenna was able to record it, so they should be able to get that out to you. Let's see. Steven says, oh, he got a mic. Steven said he is not using funding because he didn't know about it. We'll pay attention in there, Steven. He's like, we need to connect after this. He's getting around 75% ROI daily. So if he's making $1,400, so that means he's spending probably $1,800 a day to make $1,400 roughly. That's my quick math. Let's see. Toby asked, do you have to keep creating content? Those slideshows will last you a long time, Toby, but what you'll find, and Stephen and Michael can attest to that, is it gets addicting, right? Like you want to keep looking and coming up with new ideas of slideshows because it becomes fun. And that's what I don't think people understand, is when they do this or when they get started, they think it's going to be like, oh, I got to do this and this, but then you're like, you start doing some research on some of these ads or some of these slideshows, and it becomes really fun. And you'll want to do more, but you literally, if you wanted to run one slideshow for 6 months, you wouldn't have to add any content till you wanted to put up your next slideshow.
Yeah, and let me say that too. After your initial, articles, you don't really have to do any additional articles like that. And so the only reason you would need to put additional content up is if you're testing or you want to create additional slideshows, which are going to be just more revenue.
Yep. John asked, how many slideshows do you need to produce per day? Same thing. One slideshow will last you 6 months, so one per 6 months instead of a bunch per day. Deborah asked, how many images per slideshow? Well, I mean, the longer the slideshow, the better. So, I mean, we normally recommend, 15 to 25 or more. Paul asked, what is the cost of the course program? No need to hide it. We're not hiding it, Paul. We just have, there's several different versions of it depending on what happens on the call. So we just ask that you give us a call and we'll chat and see what the best fit for everybody is.
Yeah, we got to make sure we like you, Paul.
Yeah.
I say that funny, actually. I'm sure we will if you're one of Harlan's people.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
everybody. I mean, if we talk to you and you're not a good fit, we're just, we're not going to offer it to you, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, we think it's a good thing, and that's the way that's always served us well, because you're going to come into our community and you're going to be dealing with guys like Steven and other people, and although, you can't make, every family completely harmonious, we try to bring in people that we think will help other people and, be able to help the group. And so it is an interview with us, but at the same time, you're interviewing us to see if this opportunity is a good fit for you. And I like doing it that way. That's what I think.
NW, I don't know who that is, but they asked, do we have to have AdSense? You don't have to have AdSense when you start, but you will have to have AdSense, and we show you how to get it, and it's pretty easy, and but you will need it eventually. Do you use any videos? We do not, Deborah. I know some of the students have tested videos and GIFs and stuff, and so they play around with it, but we don't use video because the video takes forever to load. How do you get them from one video to the next video very easily? So that's not a very good strategy generally. Now, so we don't, currently that's not working for us, and so we don't do it. But
And it doesn't create additional impressions.
no. And borrowing the money, do you have to have good credit? Nope, they don't even look at your credit.
They don't care.
I don't even think you submit a social. What do you think about my site, buzzfixtoday.com? Keith, I think that's an awesome name. I don't, if you already have stuff on it, I'm not sure if you're asking if you should go buy that name or if you already have content on it. If you clarify that, I can probably answer that better. Toby, do you help us choose a niche of the site? Yeah, Toby, be as general as possible. That's your niche.
Yeah, you don't want to be nichey on this. You want to be able to, when I say that, you might want to go after women, you might want to go after men, so you can create a site in that kind of demographic, but you don't want to be nichey like, people who like Bashans. That's not what you want to do. So like, people that like dogs, and that's an idea to niche. People who like cats, stuff like that. Hopefully that helps. But you don't want to get too nichey with this.
John asked a great question. Since we are running ads to generate traffic to your site, do you help us decipher good traffic sources? But when you say your site, you actually mean you guys. We don't have you run traffic to our site. But if you're talking about running traffic to your own site, yes, we tell you exactly where to buy traffic, what to target, who to target.
And how to do it.
And what devices, how much to bid per day. So yeah, you get that full breakdown. What is the investment for the training? We talked about that. Can you email us a copy of this webinar? We don't have your emails, I don't think. Harlan has all that stuff. So I think Glenn, I think, is going to send out a replay. But
yeah, we are Harlan's guests, so all that comes from him.
Yeah. Does someone need an LLC to do business with AdSense and others? Nope, you can use your own social. However, AdSense will take out taxes, withhold taxes like a paycheck if you have your personal social in there, just as a side note.
Now we're giving accounting advice over there.
But you can't. Well, no, I don't withhold it. That's good. Google withholds it themselves. You got to fight Google. But if you sign up with a personal just to try and get moving with the intention of switching to a business account later so they don't withhold taxes, you can't. So if you're going to do a business, set it up as a business first, because once you set it up one way, you're locked into that method for them.
Yeah, and it shouldn't, I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Nope. Okay, let's see. Can I place my own banners on the site like a banner for a ClickBank offer with my affiliate link? Yes, Toby. If you'd like to make less money, you sure can.
Yeah, you don't want to do that, man. Originally, honestly, when we got into this, Toby, that's what we were going to do. We were going to put affiliate offers on there, right, Kyle? That's what our idea was, is that we're going to do this. And so over 200K with the testing, and that's primarily Casey and Michael, we can say definitively that will make you less money.
Yeah. So if you're into making less money and that's your strategy, Toby, we'll support that.
Yes, we were into making less money as well, so we appreciate the thought. We were like, oh, this is going to be so awesome.
Yeah. Now
and
that's
why
not to say
money for a long time.
Yeah. Now let me. Here's where I'll put a disclaimer on that. We have ads that we need, or we tell you guys to put certain places. If you want to throw one of your CPA ads down at the bottom or not decreasing the revenue you make from your normal stuff, go for it. But don't. To tell you guys, we did. We've done over 10 million a year with CPA networks, and we have 0 CPA ads on our sites, if that tells you anything. So
yeah, and we've got one guy who's got email opt-ins on his strategically placed so it doesn't hurt his revenue. So
yeah.
You can do some cool stuff, but you just don't want to hurt your revenue. You literally want to do it exactly the way we say.
Yeah. Tom asks, if I have an existing site, can it be converted to your format? Yeah, you just got to install the theme.
Yeah. That's what Harlan did.
Yeah. do you post the slideshow on a poster page? It goes in a post, Lydia. John asks, how many sets of ads get put on a page? You're only allowed 3. Well, you guys are only allowed 3. The general public, we're actually working on something for you guys to get you 5 Google ads per page. That should be ready in the next 2 weeks or so, hopefully. But then your native ads go down the side and bottom, so you get some of those.
So you'll have a few.
Yeah.
But what we want to do is maximize those opportunities for you and for us. And so we're working with some people, Google, Viral, Nova, those guys, to get you 5 ads instead of 3, which will, exponentially raise the revenue of people that work with us.
John Barry asked if we like this more than CPA. I'm not sure which John Barry this is.
I know there's like multiple John Barrys. So if you're the John Barry in Chandler or Texas, I like you both. Yes, it would be the simple statement to that. Hell yes would be the more aggressive statement.
Yes, we do 0 CPA now, if that makes a difference. We haven't sold 1 skin trial or diet pill in I don't even know how long.
3 months, 4 months?
Yeah. And for the record, if this is the John Barry, one of your fellow classmates is the one that came in and was starting to do $20K a month like his first month. So anyway, moving on. Keith wants me to look at that website. Hang on, Keith. Let me answer these questions here. Okay. Ryan asked, does the theme and the slider or ads work on mobile tablets? Ryan, we target US desktop only. So, I mean, yes, they do, but we don't target that traffic. It doesn't convert nearly as well. I've noticed that lots of sites that have slideshows on them are really slow loading and freeze. Do you have a solution to avoid those problems? We try and use, well, when you guys start, you'll have less ads, so it won't be as big of a deal, and then we try and optimize and give you some good hosting solutions to avoid that. So yes, we do address that with you guys.
Yeah, because that'll kill your revenue.
John Barry said LOL. I still have no idea which John Barry it is. What was your recommended hosting? Liquid Web has a WordPress version. I mean, if you're savvy enough to use Amazon, we've got some other ones that are more individualized hostings too if you come in, but Liquid Web would do good enough for you. Mark showed up late. How much is the program? Mark, if you see in the chat thing, we'll first watch the replay. And then in the chat box, Glenn posted a link. Yeah, if there is. Glenn posted a link.
Replay.
Yeah, hypothetically. There's a link that Glenn posted. If you go there, you can sign up to do a call. And there we walk through a couple of the options. We kind of feel you out and see what you're a good fit for. And then decide from there which program. And maybe it's not a good fit for anybody, so that's why we do the calls. So fill out that form, and then you can go through that. Amazon S2 now offers free SSL certificates. Okay. John and I know nothing about
tech stuff.
Yeah. I have a Bluehost cloud hosting. Is that okay? I doubt it, because I think that's shared, but I don't know, man. Again, I'm not a tech guy, so you probably have to ask a tech guy that question. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, no, you don't really want to do shared hosting, but no, you don't really want to worry about that because it's not important. There are plenty of hosting solutions that are very cost-effective and inexpensive that you can use. I've used Bluehost before for some of my sites. It's cool unless you start sending a lot of traffic to it, and then it becomes problematic. And then if Bluehost has a problem, you're down for the count. You lose revenue. So, it's cool, man. I wouldn't give a whole lot of thought to it, though.
Yeah. They want to see sample sites.
We showed you one, yourdailydish.com.
Let's see here. Richard, I'm looking at your page here. I don't know. What do you want me to look at.
What's the question, Kyle, for the rest of the 100 people, 200 people still
There
left
is
on?
no question. Richard sent me that website he wanted me to look at. There was no
okay,
question.
cool.
So I'm not sure what the question is there.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks good, Richard. I mean, I'd put some slideshows on there if you want to make money. Let's see. You have more than one version of this. What are the upsells? No, when we were talking about different versions, Paul, that if I used versions, that's probably not the accurate description. But we have some guys that come in and they want the sites that are already done and built for you and making money, and some guys don't want that, and so it just depends. So that's why we do a call.
Yeah, payment options, you got all kind of stuff to get into on that.
Yeah, and there's no real upsells. I mean, the options are, there's not like, okay, buy this now, get this. We don't do that. Scheduled for Tuesday at 11 a.m. Whoop. Oh, okay, looks like he's scheduled. Cool. Awesome. Man.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, Keith, yeah, I looked at it. Looks good, man. I mean, I'd put some slideshows on there and really start monetizing it. But, I mean, you've got all the stuff. Okay, John, I think that's about it for questions.
Okay, awesome.
I think I answered most of them.
So cool. So again, one last call for questions and a quick. If you're interested in working with us, go to www.onlineheavenproject.com and fill out the form. We're excited about talking to you. We do not bite, so we'll answer any of your questions that you have on that call, and we'll take you through some more detailed type stuff and try to work with you if we think it's a good fit and if you think it's a good fit. And as Harlan said, it's a pretty easy model. I think you'll really like it. I want to thank Harlan for having us on. I want to thank Glenna for recording everything. And thank you guys for being on here. I know a lot of times in these webinars they can drag on, and so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a lot of information. Did people enjoy it? I mean, tell me if you liked it, if you liked the content. And that would be very helpful if you could do that. I tried to make it entertaining. We tried to make it fun and informative at the same time because, boy, I know it's hard for me to spend a couple hours on a webinar these days.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Yeah, thanks, guys. Lots of compliments. Yes, thank you. Great. Yes, very much. Great webinar. Thanks. Yeah, guys, thanks for the feedback. That's awesome.
Cool. And so, Kyle, do you have anything else? Do we have any more questions before we
bail out of here? No, I think that's it. Thanks, guys, for being on here. I mean, this was close to 2 hours, so hopefully you got some good info out of it, that we at least entertained you a little bit along the way, and you got some good insight along the way. And we'd love to jump on a call with you guys, see what happens. But if not, we appreciate your time for being on here.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate you all. Thank you very much, and have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.